So, Michael, you have a lot of different products here at Royal Gold. Can you please tell the viewers a little bit more about each medium and what it does?
For us, it all starts with the cocoa fiber. That's the original product. The original starting point is making the best cocoa fiber available. We do all of our own grinding, rinsing, buffering, and packaging here in North America, California, in Humboldt County, in the heart of cannabis country. So we take the cocoa that we bring over in blocks, we grind it, we apply a calcium to remove the salts, get the parts per million down to almost nothing, and then bring the parts per million back up with calcium so it's ready to use for the grower. So they don't need to buffer it or rinse it or anything when they get home. So you've got a nice, soft, relatively moist, but not enough to have any water pouring out, mix of different fiber types. You've got some long fiber, but mostly this nice, soft pith fiber. And this is the base for all of our other mediums. We found it really important to make a clean quality cocoa that's ready to use out of the bag, and then to use that same quality for the mixes as opposed to cheapening it with lesser grade cocoa because we're mixing it with other products. We use the same level in every bag you see.
And the quality control here versus overseas is so much more important.
It's really a different beast. We have our eye on every single step of it. We can test it. We know when it's low enough. We know when the calcium level's high enough, and we can make it consistent. And that was the thing we struggled with the product coming out of India that was pre-buffered, is it wasn't consistent enough for our needs or our growers' needs. So we use that product for our most popular, the Tuper. And a lot of people at home will know the Tuper. It's a soilless mix, heavily aerated, and inert. It's not amended at all. There's no nutrient quality to it at all. We allow the grower to control their fertigation program based on their needs. We don't know whether you're growing a giant plant for 10 weeks or 12 weeks or a tiny little nursery plant for just a couple days, or what your plant's individual needs are. So we want to allow the grower to express their expertise with this medium. It's a combination of that cocoa fiber, our house-made redwood forest humus, and perlite. The beauty of this is the redwood forest humus creates kind of a buffer and creates better airspace within the medium than a traditional 70-30 cocoa. So while it's often compared to 70-30 cocos as a hydro medium, it's just a very different beast. There's more airspace within the medium. Water flows through more effectively.
Much more porosity.
Much more porosity. And you can feed more aggressively because cocoa holds more nutrients than the redwood forest humus does. You're not going to have salts and stuff build up as much as they would in just a 70-30.
Fantastic.
That is by far our most popular product until the Kingsmix came along. This is our most recent addition to the soils line, and it's a peat cocoa blend, so it allows gardeners to kind of get the best of both worlds. It's going to be a great opportunity for people to experiment with cocoa fiber, to get their first experience using a cocoa medium, kind of learn it, and to transition away from peat and other traditional mediums. You can see the particles of our forest material in there, that same redwood forest humus, perlite, cocoa. There's a little bit of compost and a little bit of peat. We also have our coconut husk chips, which I find are a really unique ingredient. They're like little sponges that trap water. So when your medium's dry in the pot, these are going to hold that little bit of extra moisture to create a more balanced buffer. And roots just love to run down through that vascular tissue of the coconut husk.
Yeah, it's like a little extra reservoir in your medium.
Absolutely. That's a great way to say it. And the roots will run down there through that little reservoir, and fungus colonizes so well. So you get beneficial fungus colonizing in the root zone on this lignin-rich coconut husk chip. So it's a really unique ingredient, and one of the things we're proud of featuring in the Kingsmix. Kingsmix is a great product for light deprivation. That was really its predominant design intent, was for light deprivation greenhouses, high elevation, and coastal grows where you have huge temperature swings and you need good aeration to control your soil temperature, because your plants lose effective nutrient mobility at about 50 degrees soil temperature. So we wanted better air to keep that soil temperature a little higher and reduce the evaporative cooling compared to a lot of heavier mixes.
Super.
Then you have our basement mix, and our basement mix is one of our original products. It was designed for that traditional basement grow where people want to dump it out of the bag into a pot, water like an organic based liquid nutrient every 3 to 5 days and come out with a quality product. So it's built with a lot of like permaculture and holistic soil building techniques. We've got a balance of lava rock, great home for microbiology. We've got the forest humus. We've got a little bit of different amendments, bat guano, things like that, to provide some nutrient and more diverse microbiological food. We also have a small amount of the coconut husk chip in there. And this is built to be like a traditional potting blend, but it's all cocoa fiber based. So you're getting that plug and play use in a cocoa based medium without having to change the way you garden from a typical soil garden.
Lovely.
And that brings us to our Mendo mix. And this is the flagship product for us here in Humboldt. And we sell a ton of it here because it's a heavily amended water holding mix that's perfect for outdoor gardens. It really goes well into building long-term regenerative soil beds, whether you're kind of doing trenches for hybrid soils or doing pots or whatever. It's going to hold a lot of water. It's got a good amount of nutrient, and it's going to, really get you through those hot, dry summers that we get inland in Northern California in Mendocino and Humboldt County. You can see there's much less perlite. You've got the forest fibers in there again to help break it up and create airspace with the water retention. You've got the cinders. You also have the coconut husk chips, but you have a much stronger nutrient charge. It's designed for established plants to go in. We don't recommend a clone going right into this mix because there's just a little too much nutrient for that. Some people still do it. That's on them, but we encourage people to get an established plant into this. And they won't need to feed for 2 to 4 weeks, depending on your container size and plant size and how heavily that particular plant wants to be fed. So you kind of have to use your own judgment on when to start bringing in more food, but use compost teas and things like that to get it started, and you're going to have a lot of success with this product. These are brand new. This is really kind of our introduction to the world for our Crown Jewels products. We're super proud of this. It's been 5 years in development with certified soil scientists, certified crop advisors. We've gone through a very rigorous process to adjust the recipe and choose the ingredients that we feel are going to provide the most effective and balanced nutrient profile for your plants in a 1-part, ready-to-use, micronized organic fertilizer.
There's a lot of weight to this bag.
It's heavy, it's dense, and it's nutrient-rich. But all the particles are milled to different sizes to control nutrient release so that you can take it 1 scoop, put it on your plant instead of going from bag to bag to bag, from fertilizer to input to input. We're trying to make it easier for the grower to get those results they're looking for. And we did so much research on this product, on doing soil testing, on doing plant tissue testing, on seeing what was going into the soil, what was being taken up by the plant, so we could advise our application rates to not overuse it or underuse it. Of course, there's always a little bit of gray area to your garden. It's a little different than anyone else's, but we really worked hard to get those application rates to be an effective use of the product, and you can taper that up or down based on other things you want to do. And we encourage you to use supplements if you like, bloom boosters, root enhancers, things like that, but you don't have to. You can start with one of our soils, these fertilizers, and you can get from beginning to end of your harvest with a successful crop. And while we designed them to use with our mixes, of course, they're extremely effective with any type of packaged soil that needs fertilization, any type of native soil, and can be incorporated into any nutrient management plan effectively.
Amazing. Thanks for giving us the dirt.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.